Story is about a guy named Chung Yan, an underpaid engineer who died from the stress of his workload and finds himself reincarnated into the body of a prince. In this new world, witches exist with supernatural powers, and Chung Yan plans to use his engineering skills and the witches' powers to advance in this primitive society. His new life begins abruptly when he hears someone calling him to wake up. As he opens his eyes, he discovers himself seated on a chair, bewildered by his unfamiliar surroundings. He looks around and sees these oddly dressed ladies. When he looks in front, he sees an entire town gathered around what looks like an execution platform. Naturally, the poor guy's mind is blown by this bizarre scene. I mean, just a while ago, he was probably crunching numbers or drafting some blueprints, not dodging beheadings. Suddenly, a bald guy addresses him as Prince, and reminds him that the time for the execution has arrived, and he has to announce his ruling soon. The boy remains clueless for a moment about what's happening, but when he focuses, memories of the body's previous owner flood his mind instantly. Apparently, he's the fourth Prince of Grey Castle, known as Roland Wimbledon. He recalls his father assigning all his siblings to various territories under his control, with the promise that in 5 years, the one who governs best will inherit the kingship. But the boy faces a big problem. He's just an ordinary guy, while his siblings are a formidable bunch, giving them an edge in this competition. The first prince has exceptional martial skills. The second excels in finance. The third princess commands a strong following, and the fifth princess is highly intelligent. Meanwhile, Roland, as the fourth prince, seems to be only a waste of oxygen thus far, with no notable talents. To make matters worse, he's been assigned to a desolate border town, God-forsaken city, where streets are filled with filth and neglect. Here, he must interact with the locals and somehow turn this dismal place into a thriving territory. While feeling sorry for his situation, the old man reminds him once again to make his announcement quickly. That's when the boy realizes he has a witch to execute today. The crowd is restless, eager to witness the demise of this alleged witch, whom they believe to be a spawn of the devil and wholly deserving of death. The boy is shocked by the bullcrap spewed by these ragtag individuals and deeply disappointed by their uncivilized behavior, which infuriates him. In frustration, he flings the paper from the old man's hands away and with an annoyed expression, orders everyone to release the witch immediately. The crowd goes quiet, clearly unhappy with the prince's sudden decision. After seeing the public reaction, he lets out a tired sigh, saying he's beat and suggests they move the trial to another day. The old man tries to talk him around. Chief Knight Carter Lannis steps forward, urging him to think it over. He insists they must execute the witch right away to prevent other witches from trying to save her. The prince can't help but chuckle at the sight of this tough knight, built like a bull, looking so scared of witches. Our hero then starts to head down, casually pointing out that if more witches showed up, they could squash them all in one go. The knight has no clue how to handle this, and the scene shifts to the fourth prince's residence in Bordertown South Castle. Outside, the grumpy knight stands while our hero slams the door in his face. The prince lets out a sigh at first, but then suddenly freaks out because he hasn't dealt with this many people in his entire life. Even after his meaningless death, he's not complaining, because he is grateful for this second shot in life, and he's dead set on fully stepping into Prince Roland's shoes and getting to the bottom of things with the witch. The scene then shifts to the dungeon in the border town, where he's about to meet this witch despite all the warnings from his knights about the potential dangers ahead. The boy just laughs it off, poking fun at his chief knight for being scared like a coward of a little girl. But the knight nervously insists that witches are minions of the devil. Unfazed, our hero keeps on walking until he finally comes face to face with the supposed witch. The witch stands up and steps forward, and our hero starts to blush a bit at the sight of her beauty. But his noisy knight immediately butts in, telling the prince to back off from the witch. Our hero just casually puts a reassuring hand on the knight's shoulder and steps forward again, asking the girl her name. Once again, the annoying loudmouth interrupts before they can even exchange pleasantries. Finally fed up with the knight's constant yammering, our hero gives the shiny armored guy a gentle bonk on the head out of frustration and tells him to stay the heck away while he's talking. Turning back to the girl, our hero asks if she's cool with sharing her name. She decides to spill the beans. Turns out her old man was working in the mines when a cave-in trapped him. Some greedy miner tried to loot his stuff in the chaos. She rallied the neighbors to help free her dad, but her uncle had to throw down with that Baldy McShine. Just as he was about to finish her uncle off, she intervened. She extended her hand and unintentionally did something she never wanted to do. The man burned to crisp, leaving nothing but ashes. This was the day her neighbors labeled her the evil witch, even though she begged them not to spill her secret about witchcraft. And the worst part of this sob story is that her own dad ratted her out. Then this same old consultant guy shows up and suggests our hero just roast the lady before she pulls anything sketchy. But my guy tells him to chill because he's curious to see this witchcraft in action. The lady's baffled that someone actually wants her to unleash her powers, but our hero's all cool about it, pushing her to just go for it. She reminds him that her powers are blocked by this locket